Hello everyone, welcome once again to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a waistcoat and a palazzo trouser. So this video I'm just going to focus on the waistcoat, and the part 2 of the video I'll focus on how to cut the wide leg palazzo. So first thing first, you'll be needing 4 yards or 3.5 yards should be enough. 3 yards should be enough, sorry, to make this style. So first thing first, I'm going to be using a paper pattern to draft the waistcoat first. So what you are going to do is to take your normal vertical lines from your waist to your bust point, from your waist to your under bust, from your waist to the half length. So if you want it to be exactly at your half length, you take 16 inches. So if you want it to be longer a bit, you just add 2 inches to make it 18. So in this case I use 19, so that's why it's a bit longer. So if you want it to be exactly at your waist, you use 16. So I'm just going to rule out my vertical lines like so. So the first line is the bust point, the under bust, and the waist point. Then the hem, from the waist point I went down by 3 inches to create the hem line. So I'm just going to label all this like so, just as you can see me doing in the video. I'm going to label this. I'll label and write the waist and the hem line. So that's that. So the next thing is for us to get our button allowance. So there's going to be like a button at the end at the center point, sorry. So I'm just going to mark 1 inch from the shoulder point down to the end point. Then I'm going to rule this out. So this will be for my button allowance. So I'm just going to use my marker so that it will be more visible, because I'm using a barrel to do this. So I'm just going to mark it like so and roll it straight down to the end point. So after getting all our vertical lines, because I'll be cutting the front and the back, I'll be drafting it on this paper. So next is to take your shoulder to shoulder. So you're going to place your tape at the point where you mark your 1 inches, where the line is, just as you can see me doing, and place your shoulder to shoulder, which is 18 in this case for this client. Divide by 2 is going to give me 16 divided by 2 is going to give me 8. So I'll mark it at the down point so I can get like a straight line. So here I'm trying to like create my armhole curve. So after getting your shoulder to shoulder, you're going to roll it straight down, just as you can see me doing. This will be my armhole point. So at that point where I got my 8 inches shoulder to shoulder, just as you can see me doing, at this point where I got my shoulder to shoulder, at that point I'll go down by 1 inches. This 1 inches I'm going down for is for the shoulder slants. So I'm supposed to connect it to the neck point. So now I'm going to get my neck measurement. So because it's going to be like a C-shaped neck, it's going to be round neck, deep round neck below the bust point. So I'm going to be using a width of 5 inches, which means the shoulder will be smaller. So you can see I went with a width of 5 inches there, where I went down by 1 inch. So I'm going to mark my shoulder to shoulder, my armhole, sorry. You either use your shoulder to shoulder divided by 2. In this case I'm going to use that. You are going to use your biceps divided by 2 and add 1.5 inches. That means your round biceps. Or you can use your chest measurement divided by 6. So whichever one you want will go. So in this case I'm using my shoulder to shoulder divided by 2 to get my armhole. So I'm just going to mark the midpoint of this, which is 4 inches. Then I'll go in by half an inch so I can create my shoulder and my armhole curve. So I'm just going to mark all the 3 lines like so. So at this chest point, I'm going to mark the 8 inches point, which is my chest line. I'm going to mark it down, roll it out. So at this chest line point, I'm going to take my round chest measurement. In this case, it is 37 divided by 4. Then I added 1.5 inches sewing allowance to it. 1 inch will be for the darts, which I'll be doing on the fabric. I'm going to take my dart on this paper bed. I won't cut it out. I'll do it on the fabric. So I'm just going to divide that into 4 like so, and then I'll add 1.5 inches. So I'm marking it at the armhole point because I'm trying to create my armhole curve So I added 1.5 inches sewing allowance. So at this point, I would go up by 1 inches. Then I'll connect from this point to the midpoint and then to the armhole point. So I'll connect all these 3 points together. So from the chest figure I got to the middle of the armhole and then to the beginning of the armhole, just like this, just to create my armhole curve. So I've gotten my armhole curve, I've gotten my neck width, I've not gotten the neck depth. So after doing this, next is to get our neck depth, which is the wideness of the jacket. If you don't want it too wide, you can use 5 inches, but in this case it's a C neck and it's deep, which is below the bust, because you're going to be wearing like an inner long sleeve inside that will cover the bust points. So from the shoulder to where how wide or how deep I want the neck to be is 12 inches. So remember, the neck width I got was 5 inches. So I'm going to mark that 5 inches at that neck depth. So I'll mark it straight up till I get to where the real neck width is, which is 5 inches. So I'm going to use my ruler and connect all these lines together so I can create my C deep neck line. So I'm just going to mark like so, and then I'll use my marker so that it will be visible. Normally I was using the pencil, but because I want it to be clearer for you people, that's why I used the marker. So I'm just going to mark it again like so, rule it out, connect it to my 12 inches neck depth. So I labeled it as a neck depth there. So this is the neck depth, this is the chest points, that's the bust point, sorry, the upper one is the chest point, and this is the neck depth. So I'm going to be using I'll go up at that point. This is the 12 inches mark and this is the 5 inches width. So at that point I'll go up by 1 inch so I can create my neck curve. So I'm just going to like make it like a C shape. You can use your free hand or you can use your armhole curve to do that, or you can use your free hand. I'm just going to mark it like so. You can see it has formed like a C shape. So it's going to be very deep, which will be below the nipple points or below the breast point, and to be very revealing. So you need to wear like a jacket inside. So that's the style. So this is how it's going to be. So now we've gotten our neck point, we've gotten our neck, we've gotten our armhole. So now it's to get the nipple to nipple. So in this case, the nipple to nipple or the darts for this dress is not going to get to the bust points. It's going to stop at the under bust. So the nipple to nipple for this client is 4 inches, which is 8 divided by 2 gave me 4 inches. So I mark it till I get to the under bust. So it's going to stop there. It's going to stop at that under bust. It won't get to the bust points. So I'm just going to mark a straight line like so, and then I'll be taking ½ inches, which is what I'll use on the fabric. So I'm just going to take my darts ½ inches on the left hand side and on the right hand side. I'll just connect that. So next is to take my waist point. My waist point is 32 divided by 4 inches, and I'll add 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to mark it from the chest point to the waist point. So now I've gotten our front bodice. So I didn't take the bust dart in this part of the drafting. I did it after I've drafted this back and the front. So I'm just going to mark it like so. So this is the vertical line for the back. So I'm just going to extend all this chest line to the back point so that it will be easy for me. So that's the chest point. I'll extend it outward. This is the bust point. I'll also extend that outward. And that's the waist. I'll extend it outward also. I'm just going to use the line I use for the front and use the same thing for the back, except from the shoulder to the waist of the back is 14 inches. That's why you're going to take your bust dart. Once you take your bust dart at the front part, it's going to be equal with the back. So the difference between the front and the back in this client's case is 2 inches. So from the shoulder to the bust point is 14 inches for the back. From the shoulder to the waist point, sorry, is 14 inches for the clients, and I'll go in by 3 inches from that 14 inches, which is I wanted it to be longer. I don't want it to stop at the waist point. I wanted it to be longer. So if you don't want it to be longer, you want it to be 14 inches or you want it to be 15 inches, depending on how many inches allowance you want to add to it. So in this my case, I added 3 inches from that waist point. So as you can see, from the shoulder to the waist point for the back is 14, and I added 3 inches. So the difference between the back and the front is 2 inches. So by the time I take my bust dart at the front part, is going to be equal with the back. So I'm just going to extend the lines and then label. I will extend on the lines like so. I will extend on the lines and then label this out. So I took my darts after I was done drafting this video. So to get your dart, you just go down from that bust point by 2 inches, then connect it to the bust point, then divide that figure by half, then you slash it. Along this video, I'm going to show you how I did that. So I'm just going to mark and label all that like so. So you can see the difference between my back and the front is 2 inches. That will be my bust dart. I was supposed to do it after this, but it skipped my mind. So I did it after I was done drafting this video, which I didn't record, but later I had to show you guys how I did it. So I'm going to place that, I'm going to record that video later on in this video. So next thing is to take your shoulder to shoulder, the same thing you did to the front, you do it to the back. Shoulder to shoulder divided by 2, you mark it straight down, which is 8 in this case. I'll mark it straight down till I get to the almost to the chest points. Then I'll go down by 1 inches. The same thing with the back, with the front. The only difference between the back and the front in this case is your shoulder to waist and your neck points. So the measurements are the same. The arm also is not the same because you will not go in by 1 inch. So I'm just going to mark my straight line like so, which will be my armhole. Then I'll connect from that 1 inches I went down from and connect it to the neck. So the neck width for this is still going to be 5 inches, the same thing with the back, but the neck depth is not 5 inches. The neck depth is going to be 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to go down for the neck depth for the back by 1.5 inches like so, and then I'll connect it to the neck width, just as you can see me doing in the video. You can also use your free hand if your hands are straight, or you use your armhole curve. So I'm just going to mark it like so and then connect. So we've gotten our neck points. Now to create the armhole curve. So I'm going to mark it like so. So you find the midpoint of the armhole. The midpoint of 8 is going to give you 4. You mark that. You're not going to go inwards by half inches for the back. It's going to be straight. It's the front that will be that you go in by half inches. So at this chest point, I'll divide my round chest measurement by 4. Then I'll add 1.5 inches. Just the same thing I did. Then I'll go up by 1 inches. The same way I did for the front, I'm doing for the back. Except I won't go inwards by half inches. It's going to be straight. So from that chest point, I connected to the 1 inch point I went upward with. Then I'll connect it to the midpoint of the armhole. So that's all. So that's what I'm doing. Just watch what I'm doing. So after doing that, I'm going to take my nipple to nipple also for the back, the darts for the back. The nipple to nipple point is 4 inches. I'll do the same thing till I get to the end of the line. So I'm just going to connect it like so. Then I'll be taking half inches. Most important thing is to do this on the fabric. This is what I will do on the fabric. So I'm just marking it down. So I'm just going to take half inch of the waist point and connect it to the bust point, and also connect it to the waist point. I'm just going to mark it like so. So after doing that, next is to start taking the waist divided by 4, then add 1.5 inches sewing allowance to it. I'm going to do the same thing at the end point, and I'm going to connect these lines. Just going to be straight down. So I'm done. Now I'm going to cut this out and cut on the fabric. So I've cut it out. This is the dart I was explaining. So at that bust point, I went down by 2 inches, then slash it by the side of the dart, just as you can see me doing. Then I closed it up. So by doing this, the back and the front will be equal. Remember, the difference between the back and the front, it depends, it varies, it's not constant. For this client is 2 inches. So that's that for the dart. So now for us to cut on the fabric, I'm going to place it like so. I'll be cutting the lining and the main fabric together so that it will be equal and to be stressful. Make sure you cut it together. So I'll place the lining underneath the main fabric, just as you can see me doing in the video. Now I place the pattern on top. So this is for the front. I'm just going to cut it, and I added 1/2 inch round. So I'll cut for the back also, so you can see the lining is underneath while the main fabric will be on top. So I'm just going to fold like so and then place the main fabric on it. This is what I did for the front that I just cut. Then I'm going to add 1/2 inch in allowance round at the neck point, armhole, except the center point. I won't add allowance to there because there is already allowance, which is the button allowance. Then the end point, I'm going to add 1/2 inches. The side, I'll add 1 inch. So I'll place my back on top like so. Then I'm adding my 1/2 inch and my 1 inch round. You can see at the armhole 1/2 inches, the shoulder point, the neck point 1/2 inches, and I'm going to cut. So after cutting, this is the lining. You're going to join the back and the front of the lining and the back and the front of the main fabric together, just as you can see me doing. Then you're going to pin this. You pin it round after joining at the shoulder points of the back and the front. You pin it round. They just cut 1/2 inches from the lining so that it will sit well on the main fabric. So you cut 1/2 inches from the end point, the shoulder points, sorry, the armhole point and the end point, so that it will sit well and to be coming out from the main fabric. So after doing all that, this is how it's going to be. I joined everywhere except the side of the back and the front, because that's where I'm going to use to close it up, or turn it out then close it up. So as you can see, this is the allowance for the button. I'm just going to fold it like so. So I'm done ironing it and folding the allowance for the button. This is how it's going to be. And see how it came out. So nice for us to fix the buttons. So these are the different size and colors of button. This is white, black mixed with gold, plain black, and normal flat button. So I picked the middle one. I didn't know which one to pick, so I just settled for the middle one. So after I was done tacking, I'll take it to the shop where they do buttonhole, and that will be that for this video. So thank you so much guys for watching. We've come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and please subscribe to the channel so you can be getting notification anytime I upload new videos. So I'll be leaving the part 2 video, which is how to cut a palazzo trouser, in the description box. So do well to watch the part 2 of this video, and please like and subscribe to my channel. God bless you as you do that. See you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.